Hello everyone, this is Martin. Welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about Jackson Yee. The year of 2019 is arguably a year of fruitful attainments for Jackson. So as for his path going forward, I'm taking a very optimistic look. Looking back, at the age of 2, he went to Beijing with his mother to pursue a child star career. At the age of 5, he started taking up all kinds of interesting skills: dancing, music playing, magic, pottery. At the age of 12, he debuted alongside his 2 bandmates as a boys group. At the age of 14, the group gained mainstream popularity with one single hit song, Manual of Use. At the age of 16, he became the tourism ambassador of Denmark. At the age of 17, he was cast in the role of Li Bi in The Longest Day in Chang'an, and became Dux in the admissions exam of Central Academy of Drama in 2018. At the age of 18, he started as the protagonist in Better Days, for which his acting skills received high acclaim from the industry. Now, let's turn our mind back to the present. In 2020, at the age of merely 19, Jackson Yee was awarded Best New Performer in the 39th Hong Kong Film Awards. Such a bright future awaits this young chap. Over the past few days, an interview piece on Jackson Yee from the CCTV program Face to Face was released on the internet, which in no time stirred up a hot debate on Weibo. On the program, the host asked, when the writer for Better Days said, quote, "You are an actor, not an idol," unquote, why did you cry? Jackson answered, because I feel a great deal of consolation and validation. His response reminds me that during his time at The Longest Day in Chang'an set, when he was referring to his on-set character Li Bi, he said, "Both of Li Bi and I, we have to carry a lot of stuff. For him, he has to carry the entire fate of the Tang Dynasty. For me, I have to carry my own life and the expectation of everyone else." Before he received the Film Award, the impression most of us have of Jackson probably still rests on the prepubescent child who cheerfully sings, "Follow me to do this slow movement, left hand, right hand." As such, when it comes to his getting the Best New Performer award, some still have doubts, such as, wait, China has no actors or what? How come a celebrity with only huge following would want to cheat his way at getting an award? Certainly, as a novice actor, Jackson Yee still has a lot of room for improvement. However, as the 4th actor from mainland China and the only male actor who received this award, he would definitely deserve this tremendous credit. The movie that prompted Jackson Yee to win the award is the blockbuster from last year, Better Days. In the film, he portrayed Xiaobei, this small-time rascal who was abandoned by his mother as a child and had to make his living on the streets. Despite often being involved in fights and brawls to the borderline extent of breaking the law, Xiaobei by nature is not an evil person. In fact, inside his heart, he has quite a sensitive and soft side. This is a person who involuntarily incubates a personality overlaid with good and evil, cold and warm. He would harbor no hesitation in flailing his fists for the sake of survival. His fists filled with ruthlessness and unrestrained violence. When he was messing around, he had a look of smugness, with a pulled-up lip, indicative of his cheap playfulness. The life of Xiaobei was full of wounds and had no way out since no one cared about him. Yet it took an unexpected turn when Chen Nian simply asked, "Does it hurt?" expressing her concern for him. For Xiaobei, Chen Nian can protect the world, and he can protect Chen Nian. Once he has had a person he cares about and wants to protect, Xiaobei's look started to become more gentle. His smile was getting some sunny vibe. When he was taking Chen Nian's place as the suspect for murder charges, his face was also laden with a sense of determination and that of the pain of separation. In summation, Jackson did an excellent job of portraying as a teenager who interprets through his own eyes how to act tough with his naivety. In fact, back in his days of shooting The Longest Day in Chang'an, the performance of Jackson in the series has become such a masterly stroke although at that time he was spurned as having a poker face and slurring his lines. Many have actually ignored a basic fact. That is, a lot of lines in that series are just half modern Chinese and half classical Chinese, which are quite obscure and tongue-twisting. So Jackson had not received any acting training from the academy. Besides, he was only 17 at that time, and also in the middle of preparing for his college admission exam. At the same time, he also had to participate in the shooting of the street dance competition show, Street Dance of China. In fact, during the shooting of Chang'an, Jackson's hard-working regimen was painstakingly obvious. He would stay up to the early hours of second day just to memorize lines. He would submerge himself into bone-chillingly cold water during wind-howling seasons just to do well in his scenes. Once the shooting was completed, Jackson could hardly talk because he was too pale and frail from the freeze. He would insist on catching up with the shooting despite having a 39.6-degree fever, so the shooting progress was not halted. Once the shooting was completed, he would be crouching on the ground by himself next to the heater. Some people would approach and ask if it's alright. He would say, "I'm fine." The purpose of his saying that was to just deal with his professionalism in a low-profile way. Little did he know, when the topic of his shooting while having a high fever went on a viral hashtag on Weibo, some netizens satirized him as someone who's just doing a publicity stunt and selling a false image of misery. Nevertheless, with respect to the criticism and hardship of shooting, Jackson just responded with silence. Even his co-star Mr. Lei Jiaying and the series producer couldn't help but praise him. A 17-year-old ought not be capable of shouldering pressure of this magnitude. Fortunately, Jackson was then able to prove his competence with his performance in Better Days, thus shredding into pieces the stereotype that celebrities who have a huge following don't know how to act. That said, his acting at this time is arguably not yet ascending to a height of purity. It is nonetheless moderately praiseworthy, with a lot of malleability for possible improvement. Although the tentative attempt at acting in The Longest Day in Chang'an has made a lot of people see the professionalism and talent in acting as displayed by Jackson, this alone has not carved out a smooth path for his career in showbiz thenceforth. Thereafter, during the casting process for Better Days, at the outset, Jackson actually was not the first choice for the character Xiaobei, because the director felt that Jackson is not fully grown yet. He's not ready to play a character as ruthless as Xiaobei. So after 2 auditions, Jackson did not get the go-ahead. Only when it was for the 3rd time, the film crew then realized that Jackson had that level of maturity way stronger than his peers, noting he's a person who has story to tell, thus finally locking him in as Xiaobei, and making possible the establishment of a classic image on screen that went on to receive praise by many. Yep, maturity, you heard me right. Despite just being an underage adolescent at that time, Jackson possessed the kind of maturity and wisdom even many adults would aspire yet not have. We can already see some glimpses of that quality way back in the show Street Dance of China, which he participated in. In Season 1, the most remarkable segment was that Jackson said something that would stun everyone on set that day. At that time, the contestant Xiaopi selected by Jackson was not seen as the most promising player. Despite that, with Jackson's validating encouragement, Xiaopi managed to make it into the finals, thus proving everyone wrong and his own competence. Another coach, Huang Zitao, said at the time, "It didn't occur to me that Xiaopi could come this far. I was too blind to see a titan like him." At this point, Jackson articulated his perfect response. Although Xiaopi is a titan, he did not have the hubris to show it off. What Jackson just said not only offered encouragement to Xiaopi, who was capable of making it to the finals, not because he was not capable, but precisely the opposite, since he didn't have the hubris to show it off. but also offered consolation to Huang Zitao because it was not the case that he was too blind to the titan that is Xiaopi. Rather, it was the case Xiaopi had neither the hubris nor the agitation to show it off, thereby elevating the underlying substrate and cultural connotation of the show to a significant height, the saying of which could arguably be seen as a textbook crowd control technique. Moving into Season 2 of Street Dance of China, Jackson's behavior is growingly more mature. In Episode 4, there was this female dancer who, due to her boyfriend being eliminated, stood out and questioned the elimination decision made by Jackson. The female dancer asked, "What do you mean when you said his dance moves did not move you? So what kind of dance moves would move you?" Not only did Jackson sit there and listen in full detail to the emotional outburst of her complaint, but also, being a normally reticent person, Jackson actually went to extra miles and said a lot of words patiently to express his opinion as to why he eliminated her boyfriend. Besides, after Jackson finished his explanation, he did not forget to add that, "Your boyfriend danced very well." This speech had a double effect in that the female dancer was both persuaded and consoled by his words. At the same time, Jackson was able to stand firm on his ground when giving out his opinion with a touch of gentleness, thus showing his own sense of responsibility as a team leader. As such, in all 2 seasons of the show, Jackson has produced quite an impressive result. In Season 1, his team won the 2nd place. In Season 2, the championship. In his capacity as the team leader in this dance show, Jackson's own dance skills are quite remarkable. Since the age of 5, he has learned Chinese dance, ethnic dance, modern dance, Latin dance, street dance, etc. In the boy band TF Boys, he's the dance lead among all 3 members. In fact, when you take a look at the other team leaders in Street Dance of China, for instance, Lei Zhang and Huang Zitao have had the experience of being trainees during their time in Korea. As such, they acquire a strong footing in dance skills. The other team leader, Shou Luo, has the moniker of Dance King of Asia. Therefore, being on par with these people and engaging in dance battle with them really tells you about the competence of Jackson in dancing. As one grows in experience with one's advancing years, eventually we are all going to live with maturity. That said, obtaining maturity whilst maintaining one's youthful side, or having knowledge of worldly sophistications whilst not acting with them, is doubly rare and uneasy. Take an example. Another time on the stage of Street Dance of China, in Episode 10 of Season 1, Liang Liang, one contestant on Jackson's team, lost the match. At that time, everyone, including Liang Liang's competitor, were all taken aback by this outcome. Normally, when a contestant who is perceived to stay until the end gets eliminated, his team leader or coach would give a heartfelt speech of some sort before bidding farewell. However, when the show crew asked Jackson, "Do you have any words you'd like to tell Liang Liang?" all Jackson did was just biting tightly his lips and staying silent for a couple seconds before saying, "No, I don't." Exactly. With the way things were going, words expressing regret should be left unspoken. Words mending hurt are left unspoken out of unwillingness. Words expressing dissatisfaction would even be better left unspoken. All of his emotions are subsumed within the simple 3 words, "No, I don't," the volume of which speaks louder than anything else. Despite having already debuted in the showbiz for so many years, yet when he's faced with many unwritten tacit rules therein, Jackson nonetheless carries with him a type of sincerity that is both reckless and gentle. For instance, when he was having an interview with GQ magazine, he was asked about who was his best friend. His answer was himself. Jackson enjoyed the time of being alone very much. He likes to pile up a lot of paper individuals and play with them all by himself. He likes to stand at the rear end when attending dance classes, so when he's in a position of not being seen by others, he enjoys clay sculpture, drum playing, calligraphy practicing. Ever since he was little, he has known that there's no such thing as overnight fame. Everything is about consistent practice leading to fruition. As such, he had always trained very hard, constantly perfected and improve himself, thereby harvesting a lot of recognition. Award medals. He got a grade of 94.85 in his arts examination, which placed him first nationwide in the stream of drama and performance art at Central Academy of Drama. His calligraphy was made a collection by Denmark Embassy. He was invited to make a speech on public course in English at the headquarters of World Health Organization in Geneva. In addition to his busy work schedule and self-aggrandizement, Jackson is also a fan of exploration and challenge. For example, he would sit for 44 hours on a green-clad train to visit Tsang Mountain and Ur Lake, and climb atop the 4,700-meter-high Jade Dragon Snowy Mountain. Or he would drive a red pickup truck with his mate to Inner Mongolia, and lie down on a desolate grassland filled with cow manure to look at those glittering stars. Or he would pilot a plane above the sky of New York, looking over the whole world below him. Other than that, he's also a good son to his mom. In season 2 of the show Familiar Taste, Jackson wrote his mom a letter, saying that during his childhood, it was really tough, so he thanked his mom for being with him during that period. He also said that having some hard time at present can bring more happiness in the future. He also asked his mom, "I'm feeling happiness, do you feel it?" When shooting Ice Hockey Hero based on individual preferences of 16 child contestants, he would sincerely prepare gifts and handwrite greetings that are totally different from each other. He would prepare 2,600 handwritten cards and give them to his fans in his birthday party, wishing everyone to have a happy day. Although he has attracted a lot of controversies on his way to reaching stardom, Jackson nevertheless responds negative comments with positivity. He puts off a lot of efforts to prove his worth and uses his warmth to show his considerateness. At this juncture, he has now set up his own work studio. He will personally examine the pros and cons of every endorsement and script he's involved in. At present, this 4-letter little boy with whom countless fans have accompanied as he grows up has gradually turned out to be a master of showbiz trades, attaching himself to labels such as idol aura, popular following, worthy competence. Notwithstanding, he will still keep his low-profile modesty and harbor no hubris. All these qualities will probably help us establish him as what a true idol looks like. Someone who surges in a wave of success with a prosperous future anticipating ahead. So that concludes today's video. This is Martin. See you guys next time.